If you haven't, make sure you're still doing your file save scene, and you may even want to do a save scene as if you want to do an iterative save, which means you're saving it in multiple processes. You can also leave the computer to do that after your first save by doing increment and save, and it will just put numbers on afterwards. So I'm going to save this as my Mochi Bunny, and I'm going to call it draft 1. You can call it whatever you want, but normally I have several different drafts of these. I might modify one after I'm done. I might realize, oh, hey, I don't like that head. Let me go back to an earlier save and redo it. So the thing about the head is that you're going to do it very similar to the rest of what we've done. So we can just do that. Drag select, control to deselect, and do another extrude. And remember, you're just blocking this out. And if you don't know what that word means, blocking it out means that you are just getting the basic shape of this done. Now, if I look at this view, and if I look at most characters, I'll notice it doesn't line up exactly because the back of the head tends to be a little higher than the front of the head where the chin is. And so when I get to this point, I may want to just angle that slightly using my rotate tool. And then I can go ahead and shift extrude out to about where that chin will be. And that'll give me a much better edge flow for this to look like a character. Now this is a very slight movement, because I'm doing a pretty simple little guy here, right? And I can scale out so that it matches the side. And I have a line at the mouth, so that's actually a pretty good spot for this. I can go ahead and just put this one vertex back in by using that move tool. Once again, shortcut key W, where you can click move tool. And then here's the interesting thing about the human head, a lot of animal heads. It curves down for the chin and then it curves up when we kind of get to the eyebrows. So we basically get to do a face extrude, and at about the nose, our body ends up pretty level, right? So we can go ahead and grab that rotation and rotate it to be fairly straight. Use your scale tool again. And then we extrude up again. And when we extrude, to match these type of shapes, we may need to angle it back down a little again. And that'll allow me to get this ear as well. Now, if I wanted to straighten out a little, let's say I rotate it too much, you can always scale down on the Y and it'll even that out slightly. And this is when you might say, hey, Tina, Miss Laverne, whatever you want to call me in this, you forgot to scale on that side. And the answer is yes, I did. And the cool thing is if you ever forget to do that, you can go to Edge and you can double click. What you'll get is a selection all the way around. It can be a ring or a loop, depending on how it's made. Your ring tends to be around like you're wearing a ring on your finger, and your loop tends to be up and down. So you can always click and scale if you did mess up, and that's kind of the cool thing about 3D, I find, is that it's pretty easy to go back and modify afterwards. We can just grab this and extrude again, just this top extrude, and we're going to scale this pretty dramatically. Scale this till he fits the ear area, and for there, I can scale that in, and the cool thing about doing it this way is that I still might want to remap it, but now I have these faces I can extrude the ears off of that are the right size. So what does remapping mean? Well, it means that you want the faces to stay common. If you start with polys, these, polygons, four-sided objects, well, I guess quads, we'll call them quads, four-sided objects. Polygons can be anything. and then you switch to triangles, it can kind of mess up the edge flow. So we're going to delete these top bits right here. And if I notice that, I'd actually have a quad here and a quad here if I connected them. And the cool thing is I can do that. I can go to right click, edge, shift, shift, and I can select both those edges, and right in this toolkit, if you forget where that is, it's this hammer right over here, I can hit bridge and it will bridge it shut so I have quad to quad. And then I can do the same thing here, bridge, and I have quad to quad. Great.